The son of Senator Rand Paul faces criminal charges in Lexington following a weekend crash. What we've learned about the investigation.
Some people say the murder of a 22-year-old this past weekend may have been a hate crime. Details coming up.
How a survivor of the 2007 Virginia Tech shooting is now helping make college campuses in Kentucky and around the country safer.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening. Tonight, the son of presidential candidate and U.S. Senator Rand Paul faces some legal trouble in Lexington. Police have cited him for DUI.
Police say it happened here on Woodland Avenue around 11:30 Sunday morning. According to a police citation, a witness saw a car in the middle of the intersection at Old Vine revving the engine. The citation says police found William Paul sitting in the car after hitting a parked car. Police described Paul as having a strong odor of alcohol, bloodshot, watery eyes, slurred speech, and say he was belligerent. According to the citation filed here in Fayette County Court, Paul failed a field sobriety test and refused a blood test. Now, police confirm he was taken to the hospital to be treated for injuries to his face, and he was cited, not arrested. Police say that is standard procedure in a situation like this. This isn't Paul's first alcohol-related charge. This mugshot is from January 2013, when Paul was arrested at the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. He was charged with assaulting a flight attendant and consuming alcohol while underage. Those charges were later dropped. In October 2013, Kentucky's Alcoholic Beverage Control cited Paul for alcohol possession by a minor at Keeneland. A spokesperson for Senator Rand Paul's office said in a statement, quote, "Senator Rand Paul does not comment on any private matters in regards to his family." William Paul did not return our request for comment. In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
William Paul was charged with DUI, first offense, and failure to maintain insurance. Both are misdemeanors. He's a senior at UK. He'll be arraigned May 12th in Fayette District Court.
If you have any outdoor plants, you may want to cover them up. You may see some frost when you wake up tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look at a chilly forecast. Chris?
Yeah, one of those days coming to an end, Sam, that featured temperatures way below normal, even with full sunshine. We have the winds that are going calm. We've got the clear skies overnight and the dry air in place. Chances are temperatures get cold enough for some frost where you live, at least some patchy stuff out there. Frost advisory is now out for the counties that are shaded in the lighter blue here. That includes most of central and northern Kentucky, parts of eastern Kentucky, but really across the board, anyone is at least fair game for some patchy areas of frost. The lows tonight will range from 32 in the absolute coldest valleys into the mid and upper 30s for the rest of the region. That will lead to areas of frost first thing tomorrow morning. Current temperatures down into the low and mid 40s as of now. 45 degrees Lexington, the cold spot showing up into Mount Sterling at 43. And chances are, if you're out in the open countryside, you check on that back porch thermometer right now, it is closing in on some upper 30s. Look at the air to our north. It's even colder. It snowed today in parts of Indiana, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Nothing like that around here. Live First Alert Defender is all clean. It will stay on the clean side for the next couple of days. But guys, as we get closer to the weekend, focus of the forecast is on thunderstorms that increase, maybe sooner rather than later. The updated hour-by-hour forecast is a little quicker with the storms when I come back in a bit.
Tonight, investigators are still trying to figure out what led up to a deadly crash involving a train in Scott County. It happened about 2:30 this afternoon at a farm off Rogers Gap Road north of Georgetown. The Scott County Sheriff says 80-year-old Stanley Hammonds was driving a dump truck and was killed when the train hit him.
Mr. Hammonds was apparently trying to cross the tracks with a load of gravel. At this time, it would be speculation as to whether he stalled on the tracks or to whether he didn't see the train. We're not real sure.
Investigators say the train hit the passenger side of the dump truck. They say Hammonds had been driving that truck in the area for years.
Lexington police say they don't have many leads in the case, so 3 days after someone stabbed a pizza delivery driver to death, the murder is still unsolved. But tonight, some of Salahuddin Jitmud's friends and family are asking if his murder was a hate crime. Monique Blair has the update.
At our fundraiser for the building of our mosque, and he was serving food with a big smile, as he usually does.
Dr. Ihsan Bagby, a board member of the local mosque, Majid Bilal, was a friend of 22-year-old Salahuddin Jitmood, the pizza delivery driver who was stabbed to death Sunday while on a delivery. And now faith leaders around Lexington are raising the question, was Jitmood's murder a hate crime?
There are some indications from the incident itself that it might be a hate crime, and we need for that to be addressed.
Dr. Bagby won't elaborate on what those indications from the incident are, but he, along with other religious leaders, say if the murder was the result of a hate crime, some action needs to be taken.
If it is hate crime, then we need to come together and need to stop it, and we need to give a message to the community that this should not be the way.
Various religious leaders from around Lexington met up tonight to discuss ways to make the city safer, a city with less crime. No arrests have been made in this case, and Lexington police are asking anyone who may know anything about this incident to call them.
We hope the police will really be very active in trying to get to the bottom of this, whether this is a hate crime or not.
In Lexington, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Lexington police have not said if they believe the murder was the result of a hate crime.
Investigators think some human remains found in Clay County could be those of a man who disappeared nearly 20 years ago. In the last few weeks, they say they've found a human skull, some bones, and some clothing near a small cemetery off the Hal Rogers Parkway. They think they may have found Roy Glenn Griffin, who has not been seen since 1996. Investigators say he lived not far from where the remains were found.
There's a certain degree of satisfaction comes with closing any case that you're working on, especially so with a missing persons case.
The Clay County coroner is still waiting for DNA results before making a positive identification of those remains.
The theft of more than $100,000 worth of bourbon from two Central Kentucky distilleries is still grabbing attention around the world tonight. Yesterday, the Franklin County grand jury indicted 9 people in connection to the case. Franklin County Sheriff Pat Melton says since that announcement, he's been hearing from media outlets around the world wanting to talk to him about the story. And bourbon industry experts say there's a lot of interest in Pappy Van Winkle bourbon, especially since some of it was stolen. They say a bottle of that bourbon can cost thousands of dollars.
The major headline there is that it involves Pappy Van Winkle. Bourbon as a whole is doing great as far as a bubbling national trend, but when you have the hot name, the hot brand of Pappy, and the sheer volume of it.
Investigators say much of the stolen bourbon will likely be destroyed after the trial.
Protests continued in Baltimore tonight, where demonstrators are angry over the death of a man in police custody. Investigators say that Freddie Gray died of a severe spinal injury, but police are not sure what caused it. Today, police set up barricades near a police station to keep protesters back. The head of Baltimore's Fraternal Order of Police is defending the officers who arrested Gray. In a statement, he compared protesters to a lynch mob.
When you're trying to put somebody in jail before all the facts are in, the investigation hasn't been completed, I mean, that's wrong.
We can protest without violence. We can let our voices be heard without violence. That's the message we want everybody to know.
Police say the officers involved in that arrest have been suspended with pay, and they are cooperating with the investigation. A survivor of the 2007 mass shooting at Virginia Tech shared her experience with students at the University of Kentucky tonight.
Christina Anderson was shot 3 times in one of the classrooms at Virginia Tech. She's now helped create a new app called Live Safe, which is designed to help keep students and staff safe on campus. UK started using the app earlier this year. Anderson says she wants students to be more aware of their surroundings, a lesson she says she learned at Virginia Tech.
So as you're kind of going around campus or your dorm or your residence, if you see things that aren't in the right place or someone who doesn't really belong there, having that trust and that gut reaction to report that, to either call the police or use things like the Live Safe app that we're here to talk about as well, to send that in anonymously.
The Live Safe app is free for students and staff members to use. It allows people to connect directly to UK police and even send in tips through text, pictures, audio, or video. Tonight, an Eastern Kentucky fire station has been shut down because of a burglary. Firefighters say thieves stole thousands of dollars worth of equipment.
The thieves targeted one of the Cumberland River volunteer fire departments in Letcher County. Police say the thieves stole radiators, carburetors, batteries, weed eaters, and tools. The fire chief says he can't understand why.
To think that people would come in here and steal from the very people that want to help them. You know, they didn't steal from me, they stole from all of our people here. And it's disgusting.
Well, for now, the fire department is working out of another fire station. So far, police have not made any arrests in this case.
It will be up to a grand jury to decide if charges should be filed for the dragging death of a Laurel County dog. The Homeward Bound Animal Rescue Group say the dog's owners claim the animal was dragged down a road by accident. The owners say they didn't realize he had been tied up to the bumper of their truck. Homeward Bound says the dog was dragged for miles before being left in a ditch off Highway 1006. The dog had to be euthanized because rescuers say his injuries were so bad his owners didn't want to talk to us.
Tonight, police up in Kenton County are looking for a man they say tried to lure a girl into his van. Police say the 10-year-old girl was walking in an Edgewood neighborhood Monday afternoon when a man in a white van drove up to her. The girl says the man told her to get inside the van because her mother had been injured. But the girl didn't believe him and threatened to call police. At that point, police say the man then drove away. Neighbors say this doesn't surprise them.
We live 2 blocks away from the police department. And if it can happen right here, I mean, my God, it can happen anywhere.
Police in Edgewood posted a message to Facebook to warn parents about the stranger. Police say this incident is similar to an attempted luring that happened in Grant County last week, but Grant County deputies say they don't think it's related because they know who's responsible for their case.
On this Earth Day, some Eastern Kentucky University students found a green way to get rid of weeds. Today, they brought in sheep to the Elmwood Estate in Richmond, which now EKU owns that property. The sheep eat weeds and other unwanted plants to help native trees and grass grow. Students will also study how effective this natural project can be.
They use it a lot of places on fence lines, where they'll bring in goats and sheep to eat down the stuff on the fence lines, and it actually will get rid of them.
The students also brought in alpacas to guard the sheep during today's project. One of the sheep gave birth, and students tell us 2 other sheep are also expecting.
Hundreds of people lining up at a Pulaski County store tonight to meet the Harrison twins. UK basketball players Andrew and Aaron Harrison signed autographs and posed for pictures with fans at Sleep Outfitters in Somerset. The fan who was first in line told us she waited 6 hours. About 300 people showed up for the autograph signing. I believe our Phil Pendleton was among them. At least he sent us some pictures.
And I bet you he got something signed. He's all about it.